Hawker centres are an integral part of Singaporean life. They are community dining rooms where people from diverse backgrounds enjoy food that reflects our multiracial culture. When dining at hawker centres, one can witness food being freshly prepared at the stalls and hear multilingual exchanges over meals in a lively atmosphere. Some of our hawker favourites are family businesses that have been handed down for generations. Today, we will feature one such business, the Geylang Biryani stall. Located in Geylang Serai Market, which is considered a food haven by many locals, Geylang Biryani stall story began in 1964, when its first owner, Sheikh Daud, began selling mutton soup, Indian dishes, biryani, and more. As the business grew, Sheikh Daud's son, Sheikh Hamid, decided to focus on biryani and have since perfected a recipe that is loved by many today. The stall has been featured in the media for years and is now run by third-generation hawker 31-year-old Sheikh Abdul Hanan, the grandson of Sheikh Daud. In this special program prepared by the National Museum of Singapore in celebration of Singapore Heritage Festival, we will be meeting Hanan and his father, Mr. Hamid. Let's hear more from them.
Permulaannya tahun 64. Mula tu pasar mula jual. Terus sampailah sekarang daripada arwah bapa saya sampai terus ke anak saya, Syekh Abdul Hanan. So sampailah sekarang ni.
So the old Geylang, if I'm not wrong, so when they started to build the old Geylang, the old hawkers, that was the actual one. Then after that they renovate again. Then they did the one that's actually at the Geylang Serai Market. So when the business started, there were more dishes being sold. What was the reason behind changing to Brandly only?
Dia mula-mula Brandly ni belum ada dulu. Yang betul popular nasi putih. Nasi putih yang belakang tu hari Jumaat tu kita masak special, nasi minyak, nasi dal, nasi biryani sayur. Tu hari Jumaat. Bahkan dah kelamaan tahun berapa, tahun 80-an baru mula nasi biryani. Daripada situ, daripada harga RM1, RM2 sampailah sekarang, situlah mulanya tahu nasi biryani. Lepas itu terus ambil nasi biryani, tak ada nasi putih.
Tahun berapa?
Tahun, tengok, mulanya nasi biryani boleh jadi tahun 80-an kali ya. 70-an masih nasi putih. Pasal nasi putih dulu laku, banyak orang luar negeri yang datang sini berniaga, bekerja, jadi orang makan kat sini. Dulu nasi putih ni dihantar masa kedai-kedai pakai tipin. Dihantar, kan dia petang tu diambil, malam dia kasih. Dari situ nasi putih laku betul. Macam-macam lauk ada. Lauk kepala kambing, kaki kambing. Macam-macam spesies lauk ada. Tapi sekarang semua dah tak boleh dapat lagi. Semua barang susah dapat, mahal harga dia. Dulu kaki kambing tu, dia kasi tempat air panas, dia kikis tu bulu, dia keluarkan daging, dia ada dia isi. Kalau dah potong kulit, buang kulit dia, itu dah tak ada benda, tulang sama lemak-lemak sikit. Tapi dia kikis, ada tempat yang kikis, nanti dia orang kasih upah, dia hantar kedai, kita fikir nak. Dulu semua ada banyak macam-macam, pesan nasi putih laku. Lagi orang-orang India, orang Cina semua datang makan nasi putih. Belum ada nasi biryani. Bila dah mula nasi biryani, dah mula orang semua, orang kampung semua datang beli. Dulu lagi ada kampung, Geylang ramai. Pukul 11 malam, 12 malam pun ada orang. Sekejap lagi panggung Singapura lagi ada kan. Tapi sekarang dah tak ada orang, dah nasi putih dah tak macam dulu. Ada pun ada, tapi lauk dah tak macam dulu lagi lah. Kurang sikit lah. Ada yang ada tu, ada yang boleh jual, kita jual. Yang tak boleh tu tak boleh, yang mahal, harga terlalu tinggi.
Tapi during that point of time, masak kat kedai juga?
Semua masak kedai, tak ada masak tempat lain. Semua kat kedai, situ juga kita masak. Kita tak ada masak tempat luar.
As a child, do you like cooking at a very young age or do you imagine taking over the business one day?
Memang daripada kecil-kecil kita buat nakal kampung. Bila dah besar, dah dewasa sikit, bila dah tolong, datang terminat lah. Lagi satu, kalau saya dah fikir, kalau saya tak ambil, tak ada siapa nak ambil, jadi sayang. Jadi saya carry on lah, saya ikut sampai bapak saya tak boleh tahan, saya jalan terus. Saya jalan sendiri, meniaga.
When was that?
Tu jam umur saya baru 30 lebih lah.
Married?
Tu jam dah kahwin lah. Bapak duduk dekat rumah, bapak tak boleh datang lagi, jadi saya carry on lah. Di situ lah saya mula meniaga kat situ.
What was it like watching your father, arwah Datuk, run the business as a child?
Perasaan tu gembira lah. Satu masa kita juga nak jalan tugas tu meniaga. Jadi kita nak kena bikin, kita nak kena belajar ni semua untuk selama-lama masa depan kita. Di situlah kita belajar, ambil tempat alih gitu lah. Apa perasaan Anan bila Anan dah Papa dah kasih carry on? Adakah Anan menyusahkan Anan ataupun Anan happy, gembira?
Menyusahkan tak ada lah. It's not troublesome, but as a child when I grow up watching you at the business at the stall, I know it's very difficult lah, but I didn't also like will come in this stage lah one day that I will take over the business, because last time I only know go to your place, makan, briyani, then go back. You know, there's no intention to help you or what, because I know I don't want to take over the business. But after taking over, then I realised that it's something good lah.
Lagi satu, saya bawa anak saya ni tolong niaga, tapi dia masih sekolah. Habis dia sekolah malam, habis dia tolong siang, habis balik malam sekolah lagi. Jadi masalahnya berat, jadi saya pun kesian. Saya bilang sama dia, dia kena berhenti sekolah. Dia terpaksa kena berhenti sekolah nak tolong Papa. Jadi saya panggil dia datang tolong saya.
That time was, I think after poly, I wanted to do U. So I tried Unisim lah. But I cannot tahan because, you know, morning work in the stall, then after that 7 to 10 need to go for lectures. So it will go like Monday, Tuesday. Monday is off day for us. So the school days will be Wednesday, Thursday. It's like 3 days a week. Then weekends also have. Weekends, like really you need more manpower at the shop. So that's why he asked me, you know, you have to choose lah. In the first place, I actually didn't want to take over the business, but I wanted to do aerospace. Yeah, that's the actual thing. So since the day I ORD until now, so I have never ever worked outside before. Yeah, so 2 years of NS, then after that straight away not take over lah. I followed him, watched him doing the business. After after 5-6 years, when you see the business, you know, when you see customers, regular customers, that's the satisfaction you get lah. So that's when it's not really like forcing, then it's already passion. So from force to passion, that one takes time. Okay, what were the struggles you faced when you took over the business?
Tantangan yang paling mustahil, yang paling berat sekali bila bapa saya dah tak boleh buat berniaga, dah tak boleh, lepas dia sakit. Jadi mau tak mau saya kena jalan. Kalau saya tak ambil, susah. Kalau kasih orang sewa pun susah. Lagi baik saya ambil, saya belajar. Bila kehadiran saya terus jalan terus kasih bapa saya sikit. Jadi dia sakit, dia duduk rumah sampai dia tutup mata lah. Terus saya ambil lah. Itu je saya ada orang tolong apa semua. Bila dia Anan dah besar, dewasa, dah sekolah, tak apa. Jadi saya ambil dia sekali lah. Jadi Anan ingat bila Anan ambil ni kedai, apa perasaan Anan?
Anan punya, for my case, I think kena bangun pagi. I have to wake up early in the morning. That is one of the very main reason. And then second is no holiday. Saturday, Sunday, no weekends. So my only off day is on Monday.
Je lah.
So I think that's the earlier stage of struggles. Then during the taking over part, the struggles was like maintaining the recipe, and then getting the right tools to, you know, cook the pots. Because there was once I used the wrong pot to cook the rice. I think that is also like, you know, when you cook the wrong pot, then you get scolded by your father, then it's like, it's not a very good experience. Because you are new to the business. So when you are at the shop, he really told me to use that pot. But you know, sometimes you make mistake, then you use another pot. But it was like once or twice lah. But after that, when you get the hang of it, then you can just easily, you know, do the thing easily.
Tapi bila anak saya ambil take over, tu je nasi putih dia tak dapat tengok dan tak dapat boleh jual lah. Dia time semua dah nasi berani je terus lah. Sampailah sekarang. Nasi putih tahun 60-an, 70-an. Lepas itu terus nasi berani. Saya jualan terus lah. Saya sama-sama adik saya, perempuan, semua jalan pergi dapat nasi berani. Tapi bila Anan datang, Anan tu jual nasi berani, tak ada jual nasi putih. Anan tu baru datang lah. Dia sekolah kan. Tahun berapa tu baru dia sampai sekarang lah dia ambil over. Jadi
during the 80s, baru then you decided to change from nasi putih to nasi biryani. Focus mutton biryani, chicken biryani, fried chicken biryani.
Sekarang biryani pun dah banyak orang minta, nasi putih dah jarang ada. Jadi terus sekarang je lah jalan nasi biryani je lah. Sampailah sekarang. Alhamdulillah. Tentang itu semua masing-masing punya rasa sendiri lah. Bila kita masakan kita, jangan kita kurangkan. Jangan kita lokek-lokek lah pasal rempah apa. Dulu, tengok arwah bapak saya masak nasi biryani ni, rempah tu dia beli kacang kayu manis, buah belaga, buku cingkik. Belakang dia pergi pak kedai kisah, dia kisah. Kita buat sendiri. Itu jam banyak, senang semua. Semua barang semua asli, bagus-bagus. Tapi sekarang kita pakai rempah pun dah siap. Kedai-kedai rempah pun dah tak ada lagi, tak macam dulu lagi. Dulu banyak mana-mana kedai, mana tempat kisar lada tu. Tempat kisar itu semua boleh dapat. Jadi kita pakai itu. Lagi satu yang pertama sekali yang start dulu, daging semua fresh. Itu je daging baru 1 kilo, 1 kati baru berapa ringgit. Sekarang dah mahal. Jadi kita pakai frozen. Rempah-rempah pun dah tak macam dulu lagi. Dia tak dapat macam. Tapi kita masak jangan kurang, jangan apa. Kita masak macam biasa. Kita tambahkan kalau boleh dapat macam-macam apa yang bagus kita dapat. Tapi nasi biryani ni yang paling mustahak, yang paling special sekali orang panggil biryani dam. Biryani dam tu makna biryani timur. Dia nak daging bawah, nasi atas. Itu yang paling sedap, yang paling bagus. Mana-mana orang kahwin pun senang. Pasal apa? Bila kita masak biryani dam, dia pakai tempat. Bila buat sekarang ini kita tak boleh buat gitu. Tapi kalau ada special order, kita bikin lah. Besok kalau awak nak bikin apa majlis ke apa, saya boleh bikin biryani dam. Dam tu sedap je. Bagus je. Tak ada. Kat rumah ambil nasi biryani kat Geylang je lah. Apa nak masak-masak
You just bring home what you cook at the shop, then you just...
Balik rehat dah, makan apa yang ada lah.
If our own festival, we will cook the special one, the biryani dam. So like let's say, you get people engagement or what, it's our own relative then we will cook lah.
Langkah-langkah tu saya dah try, tapi saya cuba kalau dapat macam majukan lagi. Kalau dapat tu nasi, kalau boleh saya pernah pergi umrah tengok orang buat paket-paket gini, semua dah panas-panas masuk dalam tu. Jadi kalau boleh try lah, kalau tak boleh dia buat susah juga nak bikin. Masih berani yang pergi orang kita umrah je yang dah siap. Panas yang dekat kapal terbang ada kita naik kan. Itu kalau kita buat gitu bagus. Packing.
Something like that. They use the oven to... That one you need a bigger kitchen.
Kitchen lah, cuma ada kitchen lah. Tapi tak ada, tak boleh lah, susah lah. Jauh lagi lah tu.
Tapi
ini pun dah bagus lah.
Mess.
Dah banyak orang minta pesan kan, orang datang beli.
That one you will need need to study food science to really try the method lah. So going up with the business and now, what will you say is different in terms of running the business, food preparations or customers you meet?
Dulunya perniagaan ini sebenarnya dia murah, tapi dia customer kurang lah. Tapi sekarang customer banyak. Barang mahal tapi customer banyak. Banyak orang yang suka makan nasi biryani. Ringkas, senang. Dulu, tapi Niaga Geylang dulu dari malam ke 12 pun ada orang. Macam kampung-kampung lagi ada. Diorang balik apa dah singgah. Tapi sekarang semua dah pecah-pecah, dah jauh-jauh kan.
Kalau food preparation, macam bapak punya cara siapkan makanan nasi biryani tu, macam dulu biasa. Dengan sekarang sama jugalah.
Dulu sekarang sama jugalah nasi biryani. Kalau nasi putih, diorang makan situ.
Customers you meet daripada dulu, we have like 3 generation customers also lah. So from the grandfather, say someone will come over macam, I know your grandfather, Sheikh Daud, macam we used to, hang around, and then they will come like dulu some like his friends or what from Geylang. So we also have 3rd generation customers with us lah. Yang kita ada macam daripada dulu arwah datuk, macam kenal datuk, kenal ni, kenal nenek, masih ada jugalah. Sing customers
pasal bapak saya datang daripada India. Dia banyak kawan-kawan daripada India datang sini makan nasi putih. Yang bagus nasi putih, lauk semua bagus. Bila dah barang dah kurang, dah tak ada, susah dapat, lagi pun nasi biryani dah bagus. Buat apa kita nak kejar nasi putih kan? Nasi putih pun dah tak kurang orang sekarang Geylang tak macam dulu. Melainkan Tekka je nasi putih laku. Sini dah kurang.
I think it's quality and the quantity. I mean quality lah is very important. So what I learned from him is you never don't scheme just maintain or you add. So what I do is I learn from people also lah. Last time he do weddings, so he will follow a few people like ada tukang masak, ada chef. Then he will learn how to like improve on the quality of the biryani. So same for me lah. I will like see YouTube and then see people cooking. Then they will like add new things to it. Then from there I like change here, change there. But I will still keep the main recipe. There was one like makcik lah. So whenever she come, I will know what's her order. Macam she don't
regular
have to queue lah,
regular lah.
She will order the same always lah. So like I look at her ni, okay, I tell them what to do, then they will prepare.
Tak payah dia diri situ, kita dah tahu lah, kita siapkan dia. Kita dah regular customer lah, senang.
What are your hopes for the future?
Saya mengharapkan mudah-mudahan lah, Anan tu take over saya terus-terusnya lah. Jaga, niaga-niaga akan memajukan niaga bapak dia. Itu saya harap je, lagi tak ada apa-apa pada saya. Jadi apa Anan Pingak akan datang? Anan
I think for me, my hopes, because I haven't tried weddings. I think that's the thing that I still like holding on to lah. So for him, he already did weddings. Because wedding and cooking at hawker stall is really two different things. Because the quantity, sometimes 1,000 people. So I want to try that lah. I want to go to weddings, but that one I think you need kitchen, you need catering license, all that. But for now, the hopes is like I want to get like customers that I want to reach like people very far from me. I mean, you're still in Singapore, but like outside of East area. Means like I will do delivery. We have delivery. So now is the time that I started delivery. So I hope that I can stick to it. Then after that, my hopes, I will follow his footsteps lah.
lagi satu, bukan senang anak-anak kita baik apa bangsa pun baik. Bukan senang nak ambil ni niaga. Ini niaga bukan macam boleh jalan sini pergi sana, tak boleh. Ini niaga, kalau niaga terus niaga. Jangan tak boleh separuh-separuh jalan. Tapi masa depan cerah, alhamdulillah. Tak ada orang kontrol, tak ada orang cakap. Kita sendiri pemiaga. Kita nak off, kita off. Kita nak jualan, kita jualan. Itu saja. Itu dia punya kelebihan dia lah. Musabah je lah, tekun.
Yeah, and another thing is to be patient lah. I still learning how to be like really patient lah. He's patient and my patient like towards people, towards customer. Like I really have to learn from him to be patient. I think I started the business 2010. So I think it's been 10 years now. So since the day I finished my NS, I wanted to get for a degree lah. I want to pursue my studies. But at the verge of taking over the business, learning how to cook and doing part-time studies, I think that is a challenging part, and you really have to be focused lah. Yeah. Bapak ada apa-apa nak cakap dengan Anan?
Saya nak cakap, bapak harap Anan jaga meniaga bapak ni, meniaga macam Anan sendiri peniaga, betul-betul peniaga, tekun, sabar, menjalankan bisnes biar selamat lah. Sampai bila-bila, sampai ke anak cucu dia. Mungkin cucu saya Beaton pula lah ambil alih ke apa.
I have a son lah, 4-year-old son. So now, so hopefully, I don't know lah, I need to force him or he eventually want to take over the business. I also don't know. So you just have to wait lah. So for my part is, I have to say thank you lah. Even though you forced me into this business, but I think now I see the
kelebihan dia, masalah
the good things about doing business.
Mudah-mudahan lah.
So hopefully I can stick to this business like you lah.
Alhamdulillah.
Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. We hope you have enjoyed this insightful sharing. Scan this QR code to participate in a quiz. The first 40 viewers with all correct answers will win a packet of biryani delivered to you by Geylang Biryani Stall. Terms and conditions apply. Thank you for watching, and do visit our National Museum of Singapore website to stay up to date on our upcoming programs.